नजर आ रही हैं। बिसनौली सर्वोदय ग्रामोद्योग सेवा संस्थान भी बीपीसीएल के साथ मिलकर देश के अलग अलग हिस्सों में काफी प्रयासों में जुटा हुआ है। पंजाब में भी इस संस्था ने ग्रामीणों को स्वच्छता का महत्व समझाने के साथ उन्हें विशेष कोविड सुरक्षा किट प्रदान की। देखते हैं खास रिपोर्ट।
कोरोना महामारी से संबंधित समस्याओं के बारे में लोगों को शिक्षित करने के लिए बिसनौली सर्वोदय ग्रामोद्योग सेवा संस्थान चिकित्सा दल की उपस्थिति में गांव-गांव जाकर लोगों को जागरूक बना रहे हैं। पंजाब के गुरदासपुर में दोरंगला गांव में सामाजिक दूरी को अपनाते हुए लोगों को विशेष कोविड सुरक्षा किट प्रदान की गई, जिसमें कूड़ादान, फेस मास्क और हैंड सैनिटाइजर वितरित करने के लिए एक डोर टू डोर अभियान चलाया गया।
गुरदासपुर जिले विच दोरंगला पिंड विच कोरोना के खिलाफ एक मुहिम छेड़ी है। घर जाके सैनिटाइजर वंडे है, मास्क वंडे है, कूड़ेदान दिते है। यही नहीं, साडे डॉक्टरां ने घर जाके लोगों को कोरोना बारे जानकारी दी है ते उहदे नाल लड़न लई उन्हां नूं शक्ति भी दी है।
पंजाब में गुरदासपुर के दोरंगला गांव में 400 ग्राम परिवारों को विशेष कोविड सुरक्षा किट प्रदान की गई। स्वच्छता पखवाड़ा 2020 के तहत CSR पहल के रूप में बिसनौली सर्वोदय ग्रामोद्योग सेवा संस्थान के साथ भारत पेट्रोलियम कॉर्पोरेशन लिमिटेड ने भी अपनी अहम भूमिका निभाई।
पेट्रोलियम की तरफ से स्वच्छ भारत के अंतर्गत गुरदासपुर दोरंगला में ये कार्यक्रम करने आए हैं। हम चाहते हैं कि आप हमारे साथ जुड़ें, पूरे देशवासी हमारे साथ जुड़ें और स्वच्छता को अपनाएं, अपना योगदान दें, अपने 100 घंटे दें, अपने 2 घंटे रोज श्रमदान करके अपना योगदान दें।
गौरतलब है कि बिसनौली सर्वोदय ग्रामोद्योग सेवा संस्थान एक गैर सरकारी संस्था है, जिसका दिल्ली, उत्तर प्रदेश, पंजाब और हरियाणा में विभिन्न सतत आजीविका परियोजनाओं के जरिए महिला सशक्तिकरण का 18 वर्ष से भी ज्यादा का ट्रैक रिकॉर्ड है। गिरीश निशाना के साथ बिशंबर बिट्टू की रिपोर्ट, DD न्यूज, गुरदासपुर, पंजाब।
और अब बारी हमारे सेगमेंट DD डिलाइट्स की, जिसमें हम लेकर आए हैं आपके लिए इस सप्ताह दूरदर्शन पर प्रसारित होने वाले सुपरहिट सीरियल्स की कुछ झलकियां। आप इनका आनंद लीजिए। मुझे दीजिए इजाजत। नमस्कार।
नमस्कार, DD डिलाइट्स में आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मैं हूं शहला निगार। अपने इस खास कार्यक्रम में हम बात करेंगे दूरदर्शन पर प्रसारित होने वाले शानदार धारावाहिकों की। सबसे पहले बात करेंगे पौराणिक धारावाहिक श्री कृष्णा की। धारावाहिक श्री कृष्णा के शुक्रवार के एपिसोड में आप देखेंगे कि लाक्षागृह से आग की लपटें निकल रही हैं। लोगों को लगता है कि पांडव लाक्षागृह में जलकर मर गए हैं। शकुनी धृतराष्ट्र और कुंती को आकर बताते हैं कि हस्तिनापुर के युवराज युधिष्ठिर अब इस संसार में नहीं रहे।
अरे जीजा श्री, अरे बहुत बड़ा अनर्थ हो गया जी। अरे महाराज, अरे हम लुट गए महाराज। हस्तिनापुर का दीपक बुझ गया जीजा।
क्या हुआ पांडवों के साथ लाक्षागृह में? क्या होगा इस घटना का असर? जानने के लिए देखिए धारावाहिक श्री कृष्णा रोजाना रात 9 बजे DD नेशनल पर। धारावाहिक विष्णु पुराण में शुक्रवार को आप देखेंगे कि भगवान विष्णु लक्ष्मी जी को बताते हैं कि मानव जाति की रक्षा करने के लिए वो मत्स्य अवतार जैसे और भी अवतार लेंगे। इधर कालकेतु हैग्रीव की मौत का बदला लेने का निश्चय करता है और देवलोक पर हमला कर देता है।
भक्तों के लिए तो मैं कुछ भी कर सकता हूँ। मत्स्य रूप तो क्या, यदि मानव कल्याण के लिए मुझे इससे भी अधिक कुरूप रूप धारण करना पड़े तो भी मैं संकोच नहीं करूंगा।
मैं कालकेतु समस्त दानव लोक की ओर से यह चुनौती स्वीकार करता हूं और आप सबके सम्मुख ये घोषणा करता हूं कि मैं दानवराज हैग्रीव के वध का प्रतिशोध लूंगा।
क्या कालकेतु अपने इस इरादे में सफल होगा? जानने के लिए देखिए धारावाहिक विष्णु पुराण सोमवार से शुक्रवार रात 8 बजे DD नेशनल पर। धारावाहिक संकट मोचन हनुमान में शुक्रवार को आप देखेंगे कि महाराजा कुंज अपनी पुत्री अंजलि को अपने साथ कुंज प्रदेश ले जाने की इच्छा व्यक्त करते हैं। इस बीच अश्वपुरी सरदार हनुमान को मारने के लिए कुछ लोगों को भेजता है।
मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि कुछ दिनों के लिए हमारी पुत्री कुंजर प्रदेश चले।
हम कल ही यहाँ से जाने की व्यवस्था कर देते हैं। यदि तुम वानर के रूप में वहाँ जाओ तो किसी को हम पर संदेह भी नहीं होगा।
अरे ये तो वही गधा है जिसने कुंजर की सहायता की थी। वही गधा है जिसने हमें बहुत पीटा था।
लेकिन क्या हनुमान जी का कोई कुछ बिगाड़ पाएगा, वो भी अब जब उनके पास दिव्य गदा है। जानने के लिए देखिए धारावाहिक संकट मोचन हनुमान रोजाना शाम 7 बजे डीडी भारती पर। धारावाहिक शक्तिमान में शुक्रवार को आप देखेंगे कि कासिम शक्तिमान को बताता है कि कैंप पर हमले में सब कुछ खत्म हो जाता है। इधर मेजर रंजीत सिंह अपनी डायरी देकर अपनी पत्नी कौशल्या की खोज में निकल जाते हैं।
ये लीजिए।
ये डायरी?
ये हमारी डायरी है। इसमें हमने काराडूंगा में घटने वाली सारी घटनाओं को लिख दिया है। आप इसे प्रोफेसर विश्वास के पास ले जाइए। उनसे कहो कि इन घटनाओं को दुनिया के सामने खोल कर रख दें।
लेकिन आप यहाँ?
हमारी फिक्र मत करो, हमें कौशल्या जी को ढूंढना है।
उसके बाद मुझे नहीं मालूम कि मेजर साहब अपनी पत्नी की तलाश में कहाँ गए। उन्हें उनकी पत्नी कौशल्या मिली भी या नहीं।
अब आगे क्या होगा शक्तिमान का अगला कदम, जानने के लिए देखिए धारावाहिक शक्तिमान सोमवार से शुक्रवार शाम 6 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर। साईं बाबा तेरे हजारों हाथ में शुक्रवार को आप देखेंगे कि साईं बाबा श्रवण से मिलने श्रवण के घर जाते हैं, लेकिन श्रवण साईं बाबा को देखकर अपने दरवाजे बंद कर देता है। श्रवण साईं बाबा से नाराज है क्योंकि उसे लगता है कि साईं बाबा सबके दुख दूर करते हैं, लेकिन उसके माता पिता की आंखों की रोशनी वो वापस नहीं ला पाए। इधर शिरडी के लोगों को पता चलता है कि साईं बाबा जौहर बाबा के साथ ये गांव छोड़कर जा रहे हैं।
श्रवण, 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 दरवाजा खोलो।
मुझे आपसे नहीं मिलना साईं बाबा, आप चले जाइए। आपके दिल में सबके लिए जगह है, लेकिन हमारे लिए नहीं है। साईं बाबा शिरडी छोड़कर जा रहे हैं। साईं बाबा शिरडी छोड़कर जा रहे हैं।
साईं बाबा शिरडी छोड़कर जा रहे हैं।
साईं बाबा, साईं बाबा,
साईं बाबा मत जाइए। साईं बाबा रुक जाइए, मत जाइए। साईं बाबा जाइए, आप हमें छोड़कर मत जाइए। साईं बाबा।
क्या श्रवण को होगा अपनी गलती का एहसास? जानने के लिए देखिए धारावाहिक साईं बाबा तेरे हजारों हाथ रोजाना रात 10 बजे डीडी नेशनल पर। तो दूरदर्शन के इन शानदार धारावाहिकों का आप आनंद उठाते रहिए। हमें दीजिए अनुमति। नमस्कार।
नमस्ते इंडिया।
नमस्ते लैंड।
मरहबन इलल हिंद।
जरी इंडिया।
सलाम इंडिया। नमस्ते इंडिया।
नमस्कार भारत।
मुई इंडिया।
नहनु हुनूर
इंडिया।
माँ हिंदी हस्ती।
हिंदिया।
सलाम हिंदुस्तान।
वी आर इंडिया।
As novel coronavirus spreads around the world, where does research on a vaccine stand? Can India, that produces 60% of the world's vaccines, with its production capabilities and distribution networks, unleash the full potential of its medical diplomacy? in-depth perspective on solutions to the global pandemic. Watch BioQuest, Researching COVID-19 on DD India and DD News.
India and the European Union agreed to create high-level ministerial dialogue to give push to the stalled negotiations on bilateral trade and investment agreement. Also agreed to enhance naval cooperation in the Indian Ocean region. Pakistan-sponsored terrorism and India-China face-off in Ladakh figured in the talks. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh to visit forward areas of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh from tomorrow. Army Chief General M.M. Narawane to accompany the Defence Minister. Flood situation grim in Assam and Bihar. 66 dead and 40 lakh people affected in Assam. Floodwaters disrupt normal life in many districts of Bihar. Recovery rate from COVID-19 disease rises to 63.25% in India. Total 6,12,814 discharged after treatment. 3,31,146 active cases across the country. Bihar under complete lockdown till 31st July from today. And in sports, FIFA announces schedule for 2022 World Cup. 4 games a day to be played in group stage in Qatar from 21st November 2022. Final will be played on December 18th. Good morning. You're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. Our top story first. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday co-chaired the 15th India-European Union Summit via a video conference. The summit took place in the backdrop of COVID-19 pandemic, which was one of the key focus areas for India and the European Union. In his address, the Prime Minister said that India-European Union partnership could play an important role during the COVID-19 crisis by working together for a human-centric globalization.
कोविड-19 के बाद आर्थिक क्षेत्र में वैश्विक स्तर पर नई समस्याएं उत्पन्न हो गई। इसके लिए डेमोक्रेटिक राष्ट्रों के बीच अधिक सहयोग की आवश्यकता हम सब महसूस करते हैं। आज हमारे नागरिकों की सेहत और समृद्धि दोनों ही चुनौतियों का सामना कर रहे हैं। रूल्स बेस्ड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्डर पर विभिन्न प्रकार के दबाव है। ऐसे में भारत EU पार्टनरशिप आर्थिक पुनर्निर्माण में और एक मानव केंद्रित और मानवता केंद्रित ग्लोबलाइजेशन के निर्माण में महत्वपूर्ण भूमिका निभा सकती है।
Long-term challenges such as climate change and clean energy were also a priority for India and the European Union. The scope for European investments and technologies in India's renewable energy sector was highlighted. Trade and investment also figured in the talks.
तत्कालीन चुनौतियों के अलावा क्लाइमेट चेंज जैसे लॉन्ग टर्म चैलेंजेस भी हम दोनों के लिए ही प्राथमिकता है। भारत में रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी के उपयोग को बढ़ाने के हमारे प्रयत्नों में हम यूरोप के इन्वेस्टमेंट और टेक्नोलॉजी का आमंत्रण करते हैं।
European Union Council President said that India and European Union were two democracies with common shared values. He called for intensifying multilateral cooperation on issues such as counter-terrorism. There were a number of significant takeaways from the India-European Union summit. In the first important outcome, India and the European Union agreed to resume negotiations on a bilateral free trade agreement called the Broad-Based Trade and Investment Agreement. They agreed to establish a high-level ministerial dialogue to provide guidance to the bilateral trade and investment relations and to address multilateral issues of mutual interest. This high-level dialogue will aim at fostering progress on trade and investment agreements, addressing trade irritants and improving conditions for traders and investors on both sides, as well as discussion on supply chain linkages. The second important outcome was the convergence of ideas on the Indian Ocean region. India and the European Union agreed to launch a dialogue on maritime security and consultations on security and defense, and also to enhance naval cooperation.
During the 15th summit discussions today, one of the most important outcomes was the setting up of this high-level dialogue on trade and investment relations, which will discuss all trade and market issues as well as supply chain linkages. The two sides have expressed their commitment and agreed to work for a balanced, ambitious and mutually beneficial trade and investment agreements. The high-level dialogue, which will be held in the coming months, is expected to provide high-level guidance and directions to take these two agreements forward.
India and the European Union also agreed to implement the India-Euratom Agreement on research and development cooperation in the field of peaceful uses of nuclear energy.
The leaders also welcomed the conclusion of an agreement between Euratom, which is the European Atomic Energy Community, and India for cooperation in research and development in the fields of peaceful uses of nuclear energy.
As the world fights COVID-19 pandemic, India and the European Union agreed that global cooperation and solidarity are essential to protect lives and to mitigate the socio-economic consequences of the pandemic.
Recognizing each other's strength and mutual synergies, such as our role in pharmaceuticals and research, the EU and India agreed to intensify cooperation in response to the coronavirus, including on accessibility and affordability of COVID-19 tools. Both President Michel and President von der Leyen greatly appreciated the timely assistance provided by India in terms of supply of medicines to EU countries. They sought India's active engagement in the initiative of universal and affordable vaccines for all.
Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh will visit forward areas of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh on July 17th and 18th. Army Chief General M.M. Narvane will accompany him. During his two-day visit, Raksha Mantri will review the security situation in eastern Ladakh, and this will be Defence Minister's first visit to Ladakh since the face-off with China commenced. Flood situation in Assam remains grim, with 26 districts affected, where 3,376 villages under 93 revenue circles are still reeling underwater. As flood water has inundated some more areas in the last 24 hours, number of affected people rose to over 35 lakh in the state. Barpeta remains the worst hit district with 5,29,879 affected population, followed by Goalpara and Morigaon districts with above 4 lakh affected in each district. With 7 more deaths reported yesterday, the death toll has reached 66 this year due to floods. Water level in the rivers are still above the danger mark across the state, and more than 1,27,000 hectares of cropland is still submerged. In Guwahati city too, water in Brahmaputra river is flowing above the danger mark. However, search and rescue operations are being carried out with full strength by NDRF and SDRF using 180 boats in the state, and 3,991 marooned people have been shifted to safer places. Mumbai has been witnessing heavy rain since Tuesday, and incidents of waterlogging were reported from some parts of the city, including Wadala, Dadar, Hindmata, Sion, Andheri subway, resulting in minor traffic diversions. With the reduced intensity of rains since yesterday, water has receded from most areas. The Indian Met Department has forecast heavy rains, which will continue today as well, with little reduced intensity. High tide will hit the city at 9:17. High tide hit the city at 9:17 with waves which measured 3.43 meters, and it was advised to the people not to venture close to the sea or in the waterlogged areas. The flood situation remains grim in some parts of Bihar as well. However, the Met Department has said that axis of monsoon's turf line is shifted towards eastern Uttar Pradesh. The adjoining area of western Bihar is now facing the wrath of rain and floods. The Met Office has predicted heavy rains, thunder showers and lightning incidents in these areas. Flood situation in Darbhanga and West Champaran is still grim, where people are sheltering over the embankments. Even these embankments are facing threat of erosion. Boats remain the only mode of transport in the flood-submerged villages. Meanwhile, a complete lockdown has been imposed across Bihar for 16 days to contain the spread of COVID-19. The lockdown will be effective till 31st of July. The decision has been taken due to an alarming spike in COVID-19 cases in the state during the last 3 weeks. During this period, all government offices, public corporations and educational institutions will remain closed in the state. Private and commercial establishments will also remain closed. However, ration shops, dairy, vegetable and meat shops will remain open. All places of worship will also remain closed and religious gatherings will not be permitted. Bihar has reported about 20,000 COVID-19 cases and more than 170 deaths. In view of the lockdown, the entry to Patna High Court complex shall be restricted to very few authorized persons. Other persons, including staff, are not required to come to the office from today onwards till 23rd of July. The order has been issued by Patna High Court. The court further added that registrar list and IT will arrange the work of virtual courts for the cases listed so far during the period of lockdown. The staff has been asked to keep their mobile phones on mode, and also during the lockdown period, the court officer will ensure proper sanitization of the entire premises of the court. A week-long shutdown has also been imposed in Bengaluru urban and rural districts. The lockdown will be enforced till 22nd of July. All forms of public transport, including buses, metro and taxis, are banned. Only emergency services are exempt. E-commerce companies are allowed to operate between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. Similarly, food delivery is also allowed between 5 a.m. and 10 p.m. Interstate and intrastate road travel is not allowed, but domestic flight and train services will operate. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has expressed grief over the demise of fifth spiritual leader in Supreme Lord Sri Swaminarayan's divine lineage, Acharya Sri Purushottam Priya Das Ji Swami Sri Maharaj. Paying his tributes to the Swami Sri Maharaj, Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote him, "We will always remember Acharya Sri Purushottam Priya Das Ji Swami Sri Maharaj for his noble service to the society. He worked hard to alleviate human suffering and further compassion. He will be remembered by countless people, not only in India, but globally." Union Sports Minister Kiren Rijiju has called upon ministers and other senior officers in charge of youth affairs and sports departments of all states and union territories to mobilize a large number of volunteers as part of the Youth Ministry's flagship schemes Nehru Yuva Kendra Sangathan and National Service Scheme, as well as from Bharat Scouts and Guilds to intensify India's fight against COVID-19. He also added to create awareness about Atmanirbhar Bharat among the lowest strata of the society. The Union Minister was holding a two-day video conference with all states and union territories to create a collaborative roadmap for sports and youth affairs related issues. During the conference, the Union Sports Minister also spoke of the relevance of the Fit India movement during COVID times, since staying fit and building immunity are the two key factors in defeating the virus. Immediately after the announcement of the first lockdown, 24.17 lakh Nikes and 18.01 lakh NSS youth volunteers were pressed into service at the field level. Also, the number of volunteers were increased by 19.27 lakh to ensure wider coverage across the country. More than 60 lakh volunteers have been trained to assist in various activities pertaining to the war against COVID-19. The two medium-intensity earthquakes of magnitude 4.1 and 4.5 hit Assam and Gujarat respectively this morning. The epicenter of the quake in Gujarat was Rajkot, and it occurred at a depth of 10 kilometers at 7:40 a.m. The epicenter of the Assam quake was Karimganj district. It occurred at at 7:57 a.m. at a depth of 18 kilometers, and there were no immediate reports of any loss of life or damage to property. People rushed out of their houses following tremors in Rajkot.
हम सो रहे थे, अचानक दो बड़े बड़े वाइब्रेशन आए। नींद में ऐसा लगा कि जैसे कोई घर हिला रहा है। इतना ज़्यादा बड़ा भूकंप था आज। उस दिन था, उससे भी ज़्यादा वाइब्रेशन था और उससे भी ज़्यादा बड़ा भूकंप था। फिर हम घबरा के सीधा नीचे आके घर के बाहर निकल गए।
The Cochin Shipyard Limited in Kerala has signed contracts for the construction and supply of 2 autonomous electric ferry for a Norwegian firm, Asker Maritime AS. A statement issued by the shipyard on Wednesday said that the vessels, each 67 meters long, will be delivered as a full electric transport ferry powered by 1,846 kilowatt per hour capacity battery. Each vessel can transport 16 fully loaded standard EU trailers in one go across the seas, and the autonomous electrical vessel project is partially funded by the Norwegian government, aimed at emission-free transport of goods across the Oslo Fjord. The vessels are expected to create a new benchmark in the field of autonomous vessels with zero carbon emission. Up next, we'll get you an update on the COVID-19 situation in the country. The recovery rate from COVID-19 infection has now climbed up to 63.25% across the country, and the recovered cases crossed 6 lakh. Now, according to the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, 3,31,146 active cases were reported from across the country, while 6,12,814 people have recovered and have been discharged till date. The COVID-19 diagnostic kit developed by Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, has been rolled out with a base price of the test at Rs 399. With the launch, the RT-PCR-based COVID-19 diagnostic kit will now be available for use by the authorized testing labs. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya spoke to the team which has developed, manufactured and marketed the kit. Professor Vivekanand Perumal of IIT Delhi, who led from the front, KC Sharma, Chairman, New Tech Medical Devices, and Jatin Goyal, MD, Corashore. Take a look.
RT-PCR testing kit is considered as the gold standard when it comes to testing for COVID-19, and IIT Delhi has managed to not just create that but also reduce the pricing of that. I've got with me Professor Perumal, Vivekanand Perumal, sir. You have managed to do the unthinkable, reducing the whole thing in such a manner that it is now viable to produce in a large quantity. How is that possible?
So what we've done is we tried to eliminate the most expensive component of the assay, which is the probe. It's a fluorescent probe that all other RT-PCRs use.
Your work, your company is now scaling up this project that Professor Perumal has started. What is the challenges that you faced, and what is the current scenario? What is the price tag, price range of this testing kit?
Basically, New Tech Medical Devices is the company who is in the activities, who is developing the products in India. This product is developed in India by the support. Basically, it's totally developed by IIT and it is manufactured by New Tech Medical Devices. So, as a company, New Tech Medical Devices, we always in process to manufacture the product in India. Actually, as the company policy, we not take very big margins on the products. It's less than 400 rupees. Yeah.
And what is the production that you have increased? What is the production range?
Production range, I think in a month we can
produce around 2 million kits in a month, and our production capacity can ramp up to 5 million as per the demand. We want the India to be the world export market for the medical devices and to beat all other countries in terms of the best product as a gold standard product at a low affordable pricing.
So that was the whole team which was currently responsible for giving India its first indigenous RT-PCR testing kit in the fight against COVID-19. With cameraman Surendra, this is Taposh Bhattacharya, DD India, Delhi.
And up next, we'll take a look at the global updates on COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic has claimed lives of over 5.83 lakh people worldwide, while over 1.35 crore have contacted the infection so far. US and Brazil remain worst affected in terms of COVID-19 infections and fatalities. The US has so far recorded over 34.97 lakh cases and over 1.37 lakh deaths, while Brazil has recorded over 19.66 lakh infections and over 75,366 deaths. Talking of death toll worldwide, US and Brazil are followed by the United Kingdom with over 45,138 fatalities, further followed by Mexico, Italy and France. Twitter accounts belonging to prominent personalities like Joe Biden, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Barack Obama and Apple, among other prominent handles, were compromised on Wednesday and posted tweets that appear to promote a cryptocurrency scam. Twitter is investigating the matter and would be issuing a statement shortly. The accounts, along with those of former US President Barack Obama, rapper Kanye West, among others, posted similar tweets soliciting donations via Bitcoin to their verified profiles on Wednesday. Some of the tweets were swiftly deleted, but there appeared to be a struggle to regain control of several of the accounts. Publicly available blockchain records show that the apparent scammers have already received more than $100,000 worth of cryptocurrency. Meanwhile, Jack Dorsey, Twitter CEO, has tweeted, and I quote him, "Tough day for us at Twitter. We all feel terrible that this happened. We're diagnosing and will share everything we can when we have a more complete understanding of exactly what happened. To our teammates working hard to make this right." And World Cup fans will be able to watch an unprecedented 4 games a day on television, spread out over 11 hours during the group stage of the 2022 FIFA World Cup, after the schedule was confirmed on Wednesday. With the relatively short travel distances for the venues in and around Doha, it could be possible for fans who travel to the 32-team tournament to attend multiple games each day. The tournament's opening game on November 21st will be at the 60,000 capacity Al Bayt Stadium with its distinctive tent-style covering. The final on December 18th will be held at the 80,000 capacity Lusail Stadium, which will also host a semi-final. And back home, Class 12 results of Meghalaya Board of School of Education were announced this Monday. Among thousands of students, there was an enthusiastic grandmother eagerly awaiting the result. 50-year-old Lekenthui Silmile, who lives in a remote village in Meghalaya, passed the board examination of Class 12 32 years after dropping out of Class 10. People are in awe of her for this achievement, and we get you more in this report.
Lekenthui Silmile is a 50-year-old single working mother of 4 children and 2 grandchildren. She believes there is more to life than issues at domestic and social levels. Despite being confronted with innumerable odds, the spirited woman never gave up and continued pursuing her studies. Silmile passed her Class 12 exams on Monday after she dropped out of Class 10th from a school in Meghalaya, Shillong in 1988. After the Class 12 results were announced by Meghalaya Board of School Education, a wide smile decorated her face as she came to know that she was among those who passed.
I dropped my studies since 1989. 2015, I heard that there is a school for NIOS. There in that school there is no maths, so I happily joined that school. It is evening school, so I passed in 2017. So I continue my studies in Balawan College since 2018.
Silmile, who dreams of becoming a poet, has been teaching preschoolers the basic of Khasi language since 2008. During her teaching, she felt that to become a good teacher, she must complete her studies. Thus, with the encouragement of friends and family, she has been able to pass not only Class 10th, but also Class 12 now.
My friends, my colleagues are my inspiration. And the first thing is I have my niece. She stays in Shillong. She helps me, she encourages me, she helps with her finance also. To become a good teacher, I have to continue my study. I want to give you this message for the young generations to please don't drop your studies.
In 2015, Lekinte enrolled herself in the distance education course of IGNOU, 26 years after receiving her studies, so as to maintain her job at a primary school in her village. She juggled between her job and her studies simultaneously. Now that she has passed the 12th standard, Shivimle wishes to study her native Khasi tongue. She eyes a bachelor degree in the language in the future. The Meghalayan grandma has surely broken the shackles that serve as limitations. She will continue to inspire all for generations to come. Inputs from Shillong Bureau, DD India.
All right, a true example of wit and determination winning through all the barriers and obstacles. On that note, we'll end this bulletin here. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.